Hey everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here to talk about Iyanla Fix My Life, Season 6, Episode 6. I'm real confused because when I was saving this file, I already had a Season 6, Episode 6 listed in my folder. So I don't, and I think I mentioned this before that I have no clue what Oprah be doing with these seasons and episode numbers because they always seem to be off from what other websites are saying that they should be. But anyway, this episode was entitled Reality Rehab. And it brings Duchess from Black Ink Crew, New York, Althea from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, and some girl named Minyon from Bridezilla. I don't watch that show, but they were the three people that were on there. And they're basically coming on to talk about life after reality TV and how reality TV ruined their lives, and they didn't get out of the shows that they were on what they were hoping to get from, which was to elevate their platforms. For Althea, she says that she's a musician, a singer, and she was hoping to elevate her platform and sell records, but that didn't happen. It elevated her image, but it did not elevate her sales of her CD that she put out. Duchess was just being rebellious against her family when she went on reality TV. Don't know why she took such extreme measures to show out for them, but it seems to have backfired on her. And then the Minyon girl from Bridezilla, she just didn't seem to have anything better to do with her time, so she decided to go on this reality show. So while working with the women, Iyanla clashes with Althea. That was like right off the bat. And we've all seen that commercial where, Iyanla always tell the people, by the end of this, you're not going to like me, but that's okay. So Althea was like, well, I don't like you now. And Iyanla was like, well, that's good, because I'm already doing my job. If we ain't even started the show and you already don't like me. So the thing with Althea was, it was evident from the beginning that she was just there, continuing the whole reality TV saga. There was one point during the show where she had posted something on Instagram, like where she was in the dressing room or whatever, and she was like letting her fans know that she was going to be on Iyanla, and they had to sign an agreement that they wouldn't do any social media about being on the show or during the production time. So she was like trying to argue with Iyanla that nobody told her that. So of course Iyanla had to bring the receipts, bring the producer out to confirm that she was told this. And Iyanla was like, you're not here to be healed. You're here because you want to get recognized. And let me put a pin in that, because we have to do our R. Kelly update since that docu-series came out. So I was watching Sway. I can't think of the name of his show, but you guys know who Sway is from, I think MTV was where he got his notoriety from. But he interviewed Iyanla, and I guess she's doing like the interview circuit to promote the new season of her show. And so she was saying that people had been asking her, why won't she reach out to R. Kelly and try to help R. Kelly? And so she said, in the spirit of full disclosure, I have talked to R. Kelly. His team reached out to her about him coming on the show or working with her. I don't know if it was going to be on the show or behind the scenes, but she basically told them, based on the conversation that she had with R. Kelly, that he doesn't have the emotional capacity to do her show or to even begin to do the work to heal, because number one, you've got to be open and honest and really ready to release all of what's going on with you, all of your hurt, all of your pain. You have to be willing to come up with like a statement saying what you want to get out of being on her show or going through her therapy. And she says that number one, you got to be able to read and write, because y'all will be doing all those little those lessons with the people that be on her show. And so if the brother can't write, now she got to be redoing the little things that they do. So, then I guess he had to be able to read his own contract about being on the show. He needs to be able to do all this different stuff. And I told you guys in my last video that I am not buying into the whole R. Kelly can't read or write thing. I know he has dyslexia, but I think the brother can read and write enough to be able to get through life. So anyway, back to the show. Althea was just there to be seen. She was breaking all the rules and everything. She was being very combative, didn't really want to participate. But Minyon and Duchess, whose real name is, let me see what that girl say her name was, Kristana. Yeah, Kristana. So that's what she wants to be called now, is Kristana. And so that's what we're going to call her. And they seem to have really been genuinely there for the show, for healing. They wanted to get something out of it. So when the show first comes on, the guests get to say why they're there. So Althea, she claimed that she was there because she just needs a change in her life. And Kristana said that she was always popular when she was growing up, but she realizes that Black Ink gave her a responsibility and that she can no longer run away from that responsibility. And I think she was saying that it was to be a role model and to be, an entrepreneur, just be a positive presence within her community. And then Minyon says that doing Bridezilla made her no longer want to live a lie. So after all the women make it to the house, they have their first meeting with Iyanla. And so when they come into the living room, she has these she has these life-size cutouts of them, showing, I think Althea had on like a red dress. Duchess, I can't remember I think she had on jeans and like an oversized t-shirt. And then the other girl, I'm sorry, Kristana, had on these jeans and an oversized t-shirt. And then the Minyon girl, I think she had on like a purple dress. So as Iyanla is talking to him, she has these poster boards. And then on the poster boards, it has like a picture of them and then like some quotes that the ladies have made about themselves. And I think with Althea, hers was the mug shot, because remember she went to jail for assaulting, what the little man name on the show that she was married to? I'll think of it eventually. Y'all know I be forgetting stuff, and I got it wrote down, but I don't want to like keep scrolling through trying to. Oh, Benzino. How could I forget that? So, she went to jail for assaulting Benzino. So Iyanla had her mugshot. Duchess, I think it was a picture of Duchess where she was like shooting the bird like this and saying some stuff. So Iyanla was basically asking each one of them like what do they want to get from the show. And then as they're, talking, she flipped the poster board around, and was like, well, what was this all about? And asked them questions about that. Oh, and Iyanla had asked Duchess, well, how did you get to this point? And Duchess says that she got to that point chasing a man, which we all know was seized. Oh, and then on the poster board with Minyon, it was saying, she had said something about her sister was dead to her. And when they were on Bridezilla, she was saying how they, made them like do all this different stuff. So basically, we all know that reality TV is scripted, and that they have to do whatever the show tells them to do. So they can come to the show with an idea, and then the producers or whatever will take that idea and then throw in some drama. So like with the Minyon girl, she was saying that her and her sister was going to be like out on this field, and she was going to ask the sister, was she hungry or thirsty or something. So it went from that, And then they were going to have this argument, but she was saying that it never was supposed to go to the point where she pushed the sister down, jumped on the sister, and then her and the sister started fighting with each other. And so none of this was, what she wanted. And then at the end of the day, she ended up marrying the guy, but they're no longer together because she realized that she was only with him because he proposed to her, not because she loved him or had any idea about spending her life with this man. So Iyanla tells all three of them to think about, how they want to be seen now, and tell them not to worry or think too hard on it because, in life you have many do-overs. And if it doesn't work the first time, you can just try again. And then she gives Duchess and Minyon, some little tasks to do because, they be having homework. And she decides to sit down with Althea first. So this whole thing with Althea just went left from the beginning. Her and Iyanla just going back and forth. They just couldn't, like I told you in the beginning, she all on social media, wasn't supposed to be on social media. She telling Iyanla, I don't like you already. And then when Iyanla had asked her about the assault on Benzino, she was like, she didn't want to call it. She said, well, they say I assaulted him. And Iyanla was like, they say, well, what, you there? Did you assault the man or not? But it was like she could not bring herself to say that she hit this man. So then they started talking about, her purpose for being on reality TV. And so she was saying, I'm a singer, I'm a performer. And Iyanla asked her, like, has she ever released any music? So she said that she did have an album out. But, even though she got recognized on the show, the album didn't do well. And so then she said that she was registered with SAG. And Iyanla said, okay, so basically you paid $369 for this registration, but it didn't get you anywhere. So as the two of them, get to going back and forth, Iyanla basically tells her that she's not there for healing. She's just there to be on television and to be seen. And this is just another reality TV show for her, but that's not what she's there. She ain't there for them to be wasting her time, and she wants them to be serious and committed about it. But Althea was on there trying to be cute. She was on there saying, like, this is another opportunity. Nobody's checking for me right now, so this is my opportunity to get before an audience and to be seen. So let's just go ahead and get Althea out of the way. So her and Iyanla clashed through the whole show. And when it was all said and done, Althea couldn't get the attention that she wanted. And so she ended up dipping in the middle of the show, and she did not receive her healing. So after Iyanla met with Althea, she met with Minyon. So Minyon stated that being on Brazilla negatively impacted her life and her career because she was a medical technician or a dental assistant or something. She said, I guess she had went to interview with a job with a dentist, a dental office, and the dentist, let her know, I saw you on this show, and how I know that you ain't gonna get mad and won't kick my behind. Like, I can't have you in here cutting up around, my customers, my patients, and like you're just not trustworthy. And I don't think people think about this stuff, like how does it follow you after you've been on reality TV, after the lights are out, the audience is gone, and now you got to live for real, get a real job, and be acclimated back into society. How is this impacting your life? At least she was honest that she was looking for her 15 minutes of fame, and now that 15 minutes of fame is over. So she was talking about the whole fight between her and her sister, and how they aren't violent or mean-spirited people in their real lives. And so she had no clue why she allowed these people to push her to that point to be on that show. And so now her relationship with her sister is strained, and they don't even speak to each other anymore, all over this stupid reality show. And like I said, her and the man aren't even together anymore. So after Minyon told Iyanla, that her and the man weren't together, and the reason she even married him was simply because he asked. Iyanla was telling her, a lot of women don't feel that they're good enough, and they always put other people's needs before their own, and that, it's time that women change that narrative about themselves and understand that they have just as much to offer as the next person, and that you are good enough, but you have to believe that you're good enough yourself before anybody else is going to believe it. So then when she met with Duchess, one of the things that Duchess said before she came out, when they were doing one of the little interviews, she was saying how she would come up with these ideas and like she wanted them to show more of her real life than just her being in the tattoo parlor fighting and cussing and carrying on. She said the producers told her that her life was too boring. That she couldn't bring that on there. And they wasn't going to highlight her personal life. And so if you guys remember, before she left Black Ink, she actually had moved back to North Carolina and she had started her own tattoo shop. And so we thought it was going to be like a spinoff and she would end up having her own show. But I guess she wanted to accentuate positivity, but the producers didn't want that. And if you watch Black Ink, you know that the New York show today is nothing like the New York show when it first started. I mean, like, all they do is party, drink, and fight each other. Rarely, if ever, do you see anybody doing any tattoos in there. And this past season that just ended last month, they actually brought these two guys in who were like real tattoo artists, because I'm like, at this point, I think Caesar and Young Bay are the only ones that really do tattoos, because Melanie quit. Young Bay wasn't really in the shop that much because she was pregnant. Sky doesn't do tattoos. Teddy, I don't think, does tattoos. Walt doesn't do tattoos. Caesar and oh shit fell out, so he's gone. And so he brought these two people in who actually do tattoos, and so they sitting on the show like, I think we're here to do tattoos, but all this other drama that's going on, like, those two guys look so lost, confused, and out of place on that show. But I thought by bringing them on there that they were getting to the point where they were going to try and move away from the drama and the fighting and all of that and get back to showcasing tattoos. And one thing I like more about Black Ink, Chicago, even though they be drinking, cussing, fussing, and fighting, also you actually do get to see them doing tattoos. They do showcase their work a little more. But I wish both shows would get away from the violence and just always got to be somebody shaking their ass and twerking and carrying on. And then we wonder why there are girls out there who are picking up this behavior, but it's because we watching these shows and celebrating that type of behavior, so the kids don't know, they're confused. So as mentioned earlier, Duchess said she was there to rebel against her family. She talked about how she graduated. She has a degree from North Carolina A&T. My niece graduated from there. Hey, Kenya. And then she was a straight A student. She was a cheerleader. She said she grew up in the church, talked about how her grandparents were, somebody was an evangelist and somebody was a pastor. And so she, I guess, didn't want to be that goody two-shoe and she wanted to break out. But honey, you broke out in the wrong way. And so Duchess deals with self-esteem issues. She thinks she's ugly. She talked about how mean people are to her on social media and how it, impacts her self-esteem. And when she was talking about the whole social media thing and responding to people, getting in arguments with people, I thought about Gabrielle Union. Because did you guys see Gabrielle and Dwayne Wade did that interview with Oprah? And she was talking about how she'd be arguing and fighting with the people in the social media and how mean-spirited people can be. And I'm sitting there like, there is a delete button. Like, first of all, you can filter comments on a lot of these social media platforms. And then when you have a moment, just go through the comments, see what they're talking about, approve the ones that you want to approve, and the ones where they're calling you names, questioning your decision making and all of that, you just delete them. Like, you ain't got, like, I would never be on social media arguing with somebody about what they're saying about me when all I got to do is delete the comment because you're on my doggone page talking crap. That's just crazy. But I guess a lot of people are impacted by the way people talk about them and treat them when they're on social media. And I guess when you think about it, the fact that you're on a reality TV show is a clear indication that you got some self-esteem issues, that you want to be in the public eye, you want public approval. So then I guess in that sense, I can understand why they would be arguing with people in the comment section. And Duchess, I keep calling her Duchess, Kristana shares a story about being in the airport and this 60-something looking lady approached her and was telling her, how she really liked her and admired her and all of this stuff, and how it made her feel good. But I think deep down inside, she didn't feel that she was worthy of the praise that the lady was giving her. Oh, and I know I said we were going to get Althea out of the way, but one thing that did come up later on in the show before Althea left was Iyanla kept trying to get her to say what it is that she wants to accomplish. And so she starts talking about her house and all this, this album. And she was like, you keep talking about things. You keep talking about accomplishments. I'm asking, who are you? What do you want out of life? Where you're going in life? But you can't even identify with your own self. So how do you expect anybody else to identify with you? Because people typically zone into what you're exuding from your personality, the way you act, the way you carry yourself. So if you can't tell yourself in this moment what it is that you expect from this, what it is that you want from this experience, then how am I supposed to be able to help you? And when Iyanla read the note or the text message that Althea had given to the producers, she basically was saying, I decided not to return. You can edit whatever film you have of me in production and present that. And then Iyanla was telling Minyon and Kristana, this is just confirmation that she can't even get out her own way, that it's all about being on television, because she's still talking about production and how she's going to look when the final episode eventually comes out. And so Iyanla had asked the ladies to be honest and real about themselves, about what it was that they were willing to sacrifice to move on in this journey, and to just be serious and real about it. So she was telling them that basically they're there for validation, and that, like I'm saying, people are on social media because they're liking something, and people are on reality shows because they're liking something, and they need the public, the people that are watching those shows, to give them whatever it is that they're liking. But it doesn't work that way, because we're going to tear you down, we're going to talk about you, and we're going to call you all kind of names. We're not going to tell you, oh, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're this, you're that. Oh, I'm going to go run out and buy your album. Oh, I'm going to come to your tattoo shop and get a tattoo done. Instead, people are just sitting out there, because I think a lot of times people, when they're watching reality TV shows, they're so you have people that want to be entertained, like myself. I'm sitting there bored. I'm just like, okay, who I can laugh at today or see what's going on. Or they are people that are just as broken as the people on the reality TV show. And so they can't separate the two. And they are so miserable in their lives that now they have an opportunity. They done caught hell all day long. People picking on them, telling them they're not good enough. And then by watching reality TV, it's an opportunity for them to flip the script. And now they can judge somebody else, call somebody else's name, and tell somebody else that they're not good enough. And this was the other thing that came out about Althea before she left. Iyanla had asked them what did being on reality TV cost them. And so Althea said that it cost her family, because everybody ended up turning against her and that they were judging her. And so Iyanla was like, more than losing your family and the respect of your family, you lost your self-respect in the process as well. And so Duchess says that being on TV cost her dreams, because she ruined her reputation, and now people don't, in the industry, don't take her serious. And Iyanla tells them that they basically dishonored themselves, for fame, and they didn't even have any idea what they were seeking for from the fame that they were getting. So then on the second day, Iyanla had some exercises for them. And one of the exercises was to take off all their makeup before they come and meet with her in the next session. So Duchess was like, I ain't taking my makeup and going out, being on camera and people seeing me without my makeup, which I thought was so crazy, because when she took the makeup off, she didn't look any different. She looked like the same person, but her self-esteem is so broken and torn down that she really thinks that some lipstick and some foundation and some eyelashes, was making a difference in her opinion. And personally, I don't think Duchess is an ugly girl, and I don't know why she doesn't let the world tell her that she's ugly. Her mouth is ugly, her behavior is ugly, and so I think when you're cussing and talking about people and just being hateful and mean spirited, I think that detracts away from your physical appearance, because now people are focusing on, the things that you're saying and, how you're treating other people. And so I think if she just be a kinder, gentler person, she can easily turn that around. But, she eventually goes and talks to Iyanla, and Iyanla was like, why don't you want to wear the makeup? And she said, because people call me ugly. They talk about the dark spots on my face. They say this, they say that. And Iyanla was like, so what? I mean, people gonna always have something to say. You can't value yourself based on what somebody else said. And basically, for every person that's saying something nasty and negative about you, there's another person that's probably saying something positive and uplifting, but you're so focused on the negative that you drown out the positive that's being said. So, Duchess breaks down and she started crying and everything. And Iyanla was basically telling her that you got to learn how to face disapproval and understand that it's not about you. It's about the person that's disapproving of you. They're speaking more about how they feel about themselves than how they feel about you as a person. But at the end of the discussion, Iyanla tells her the decision is hers if she wants to take the makeup off or leave the makeup on. And now that I think about it, she may have taken the lipstick and stuff off but left the foundation, because she was talking about having dark spots on her face. But when she came back out there, I still didn't see any dark spots. So she may have left the foundation on and just took everything else off. And so when they came back down without the makeup on, and she told them that homegirl had them rolled out, they got into the discussion about just feeling ugly and thinking, that people think they're ugly, people calling them ugly. And I was like, oh, child, this is exhausting. Like, if your biggest issue in life is that somebody called you ugly, I think you're doing pretty good. Because there's some folks out there dealing with some things, okay, who would exchange being called ugly to relieve themselves of the burden that they are carrying. So for them to be sitting there, but then, it's all in your mind. It's all in your mind and how you feel about yourself, and who am I to judge, okay? And so Iyanla did ask them, say you are ugly. You ugly. Okay, you ugly. What difference does it matter? How does it change your life that you're ugly? Like, what are you just going to wallow in the fact that you're ugly? Or are you going to get up and make the best out of your life? So she was like trying to drill that into their heads. So then they have like the kumbaya moment, when they realize the error of their ways and say that they forgive themselves for being on reality TV, that they're strong enough to make it beyond this point. And I think Duchess started crying and says that she feels a lot better. But then she said something, and then Iyanla said, I think she said, I forgive myself, which y'all always telling people to say on the show. But when Duchess said it, then she said, stop right there. You ain't got nothing, to forgive yourself for. It was a journey. You learned the lesson, so be grateful for it. The last thing they did was the three of them sat down, before the ladies were going to leave the house, and Iyanla gave them her book in the meantime. And so she had told Duchess to read page 4244. So I think the title of that chapter was called Products, Price, Promotion, and Packaging. And so she was letting Duchess, and I keep calling her Duchess, Kristana. She was letting Kristana and Minyon know that they were the product. The reality TV show was the product. The amount that they paid them to be on the reality show was the price of their dignity and respect. And, they were promoting the product, which was reality TV, which ended up being the fighting, the cursing, and, devaluing yourself. And that the packaging, is the image that they were putting forth. And so now they've got to break away from all that and they've got to, become their own product, put a price tag. They need to put their own price tag on their life. They need to promote themselves with positivity, and then they are responsible for the packaging that they put out there. And so she stresses to both women that they get to decide how they get to market themselves instead of letting the TV networks market them. And I was sitting there like, that dang on Mona Scott, Mona Scott, Andy Cohen, who else? Them like the two reality TV show people, right? There's over like all these dreadful reality TV shows. And then I got to thinking about Jocelyn. Did Jocelyn reality TV show ever came out? Because I love me some Jocelyn Hernandez with her ratchet self. But basically, ladies, we got to be smarter than all of this and just stop feeding into the BS. And so when they did the recap after the show, Duchess said that she took a break, a fast from social media so she wouldn't be exposed to all the negativity. Minyon says that she's open to reconnecting with her sister, but she realizes that it has to be in the sister's time. And so she's willing to wait and give the sister time to get over, everything that happened when they were on Bridezilla and the way she treated her. And then, of course, Miss Althea did not return their phone calls, so I'm sure she out there checking for her next opportunity to be on reality TV. And so, guys, that's it for me. What were your thoughts on this episode? Personally, I did not watch the last season of Iyanla. I think I may have did some recaps on like the first 6 shows, but then when they took the break and came back, it was during the time that my page wasn't monetized, and the shows just weren't that interesting. And to be honest, I don't like these shows where they have famous people, when they have celebrities on the show. I don't really like those. I like when they're dealing with real people, like the Mitchell brothers. Remember, that show had me in tears. When they're just dealing with real people that's going through some real stuff, not this made up drama, not this I done put myself in this situation and now people calling me ugly type of stuff. Like them boys had them Mitchell brothers had been through hell and back. Now, if she was to get R. Kelly, I would watch that. I would be tuned in. And I know I shouldn't be laughing, but what I think is gonna happen, she ain't gonna get R. Kelly on there, but she probably gonna get the most silly women on there who did that docuseries. She'll probably get a show with them on there crying tears and talking about why they was chasing after grown men when they was only 15 and 16 years old, and what they would do different when the grown man reciprocated what they was throwing out there, that they would now understand. And if they are parents, because some of them are parents, that they would teach their daughters that you don't have to receive what anybody is offering to you, that you're stronger and you're better than that. But at the end of the day, you are responsible for your actions, and you may have thought it was cute to be out there carrying on and doing what you were doing in the streets, but you knew that this grown man had no business with a young girl your age. And so at that point, you should have been able to say, stop, don't do it. So I think for them, the lesson is what you teach your daughters going forward. So I would probably watch that if she brought Sparkle and Asante and Geronda and all of them, got them on the episode. I would definitely tune in for that. So guys, that's it. Comment below, rate the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.